pressure, and they were able to keep the pace of the game so that they could end it out here, push it to game number 3, and have this decider.
That's one of the biggest things, because I see so many teams that have an early game lead, and then it comes to mid-game, and they're like, the win condition is beyond us. Like, where do we go from here? What do we do? And it seems like they flounder until...
escaped us.
Yeah, escaped us until the other team gets that victory. Here, both teams have shown advantage, pushing to the victory and not giving up, which is interesting because we thought CLG would be able to do it 2 quick games in a row with how fast they played game 1. EnVy switches that up. We're in a game 3 now, and picks and bans probably going to be the same for bans here, but we'll see how the picks change. That Tom Kench does get knocked out again, though.
Yeah, once again, you know, people are realizing or catching on to CLG's super high priority of the champion, and after the first game in this series, they're also catching on to the effectiveness of the champion and why everybody's willing to take a Doran shield on their AD carry and a tank in the bottom lane, because the shield stacking builds for all the long range supports have been severely nerfed on this patch, and the utility of the tanks later in the game is incredibly high, especially when you've got these damaging junglers like Rek'Sai. He's no longer a tank there, and then top lane are like semi-tanks with Jarvan sometimes, or split pushers, and the pure tank triple Doran's rings builds have dropped out of the way. So you know, those guys aren't so common in the top anymore. All the Karma nerfs and shield stacking has been nerfed, so it's time for the beefy bros in the bottom lane with Tom Kench banned and Braum taking his place here as one of the early picks for that side.
I wonder if that's just Abramu's Bard this game, then. We'll have to see. Thresh is still up as well. Caitlyn, the pickup and takeaway from Stixxay, even though he had a good Ashe, still quite strong, and the Stixxay will get Ashe this time.
Yes, Ashe is one of the most common picks into Caitlyn, because it's so difficult for people to deal with the Caitlyn range, but Ashe with the volley, it has a lot of extra range there with the spam ability of her W that also gives you wave control. It's long range plus it's AoE there, and then she can also stand her ground in the toe-to-toe because you stack up that focus, and once you activate Q, super high damage increase there for standing toe-to-toe for all-ins and for those fights where it's a pure engage with Thresh and Braum as well. That's definitely likely to happen.
Very similar composition. The Ashe was the other thing here for EnVy, as the Braum and Syndra get locked in for Niski. Felt fine doing that blind this time. Still sees a team that can lock him down, but that was a comfort pick for him, and that's what he's going to go for.
Definitely, you know, one of his most played champions, and something that he is bringing still here to the North American LCS stage. Had a decent performance on it last game. Definitely some areas to improve on, but still able to land most of the combos. And we shall see. A couple of bans out, a little bit spread bans here. Basically just CLG specific, obviously, with the Aurelion Soul. They already experienced that in game number 1. And then Fiora, extremely strong, basically the split pusher, the go-to split pusher. Meanwhile, CLG themselves banning out the Renekton, not allowing a first pick on the second round here for Team EnVy for Seraph to grab that champion, who has really enjoyed it as well. And as we said, he loves lane-dominant champions.
Just have some fun. Whether it's burning people down with Rumble or fighting them face-to-face with Renekton and the likes of Jace. Elise does get picked up, though, for Lyra quite far down the line, as quite a few things are getting prioritized. We start to split off, and it's like, get a jungler, get a jungler. Here on the side of Chronologic Gaming, it's that case for Dardoch.
Easy.
Or, I'm sorry, Darshan and Dardoch.
Yeah, and Dardoch seems to be absolutely in love with the post-rework and post-buff Rek'Sai here. As far as the amount of damage that you can put out, it does harken back to those feelings of the early 1v1 junglers, the skirmish jungler, the even assassin at many points in the game jungler. I feel like the key for Rek'Sai is for people to watch now. Since there's not that much versatility in the kit, the main way you can shine on Rek'Sai after the rework is by intelligent use of your ultimate for not just damage, but dodging abilities and using those untargetable frames to your advantage when she dives under the ground.
Well, it looks like they are a chase down, catch you, and take you down comp this side from Chronologic Gaming. Darshan bringing in his first summer 2017 Kled. And we have, as we said, Huhi playing that Vlad last game, so definitely putting a few new things into the mix here for CLG against EnVyus.
Definitely, I like the synergy between Kled and Vladimir, especially if you're making the sacrifice to go with the Proto Belt rushing Ignite Vladimir. You don't have the Ghost for those team bites to help you navigate, but you could have a Kled boosted speed with that ultimate charge, more than make up for it. And as you said, this is basically a steamroll comp here from CLG with you know, the full steam ahead, train is coming, Ash Arrow, Thresh hooks, Rek'Sai jumps in, Kled is charging. It's one direction here. It's everybody charging in to try and dive onto Apollo. And again, it seems like a similar plan to last game where CLG just dogpile onto Apollo, see if they can get to the back line and kill that Caitlyn.
Seraph as well, looking to replicate what Darshan did in game 1 to get himself player of the game on that Jarvan. Now in the hands of Seraph, we'll see if that lane can be controlled against Darshan's first Kled play here in the summer. We are matched up for a game 3. Envy firing back very hard in game 2 and sweeping the rug out from under CLG. We'll see who evens out here in game 3 and can push it to 11 just a little bit further. Hashtag CLG win, hashtag Envy win. We're about to be on the rift for game 3.
All right, the decider is here. Will CLG be able to rebound from their loss to Immortals, or will they have a 0-2 match week?
It would be good. It was Hotshot's birthday yesterday, so a belated gift, maybe one, would be nice.
Recovery gift?
Recovery gift from the team. We'll see if they can put that in order here.
Yeah, I mean, they started out the split so well. Previously just tied for first place, now barely sitting under it. And definitely still seeing a lot of positive things from this team and their commitment to team atmosphere, team practice, coordination, as well as really integrating Dardoch into the lineup. And we'll see how he does, because they definitely really have high priority on this Rek'Sai and a lot of respect for the amount of damage that she can do now. Let's see what he gets off with it, because last game did have the experience Quint. I'll have to check to see if he has another one, but you always have to keep that in mind now. So more and more junglers are willing to sacrifice one of their quintessence runes to turn it into an experience Quint rather than, you know, one of the attack speed ones, which are the most common. For that just early level 3 high impact gank. Currently though, if you're starting Raptors, I don't think that, I would just assume that he probably doesn't have it, but it could be the Raptors red scuttle again. Let me check here. He does have it. So possibility is there for Dardoch for, you know, heading into one of those scuttle early ganks.
Start off the laning phase. Bear trap on a rope. Ooh, biting Seraph in the butt real quick as they get to lane.
He won that trade.
Yeah, this bit of HP win is going to be huge for farming out this first wave. Level 2 should be able to go over to Darshan.
Misses that one though.
And this looks like a lane he knows how to play, especially with just that upper hand.
Auto as well. First trade, A+ from Darshan. Yeah. Second trade, maybe a C. Misses the bear trap and canceled an auto. Plus had aggro from the range team.
Yeah, he was taking quite a bit of
It's actually really fun to go over the super small interactions for trades in the early game, because even though you only have one spell, there are so many other things to think about there in those ones. Anyways, there, as we said, Dardoch, Raptors, buff, Scuttle. So he'll be level 3 after that due to his experience Quint, and in a position to try and influence either bottom lane or mid lane as he heads up here to mess with Niski.
They always look for that quick flash on Niski, and there it is. Huhi and Dardoch come up big, 3 minutes in.
And that is exactly the reason for people taking these experienced Quints on their junglers. Dardoch, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, gets off the mid lane gank, no hesitation. Both flashes blown, the ignite is down, and Vladimir is able to get lane control. Even though the kill goes over to the Rek'Sai, that's not a bad thing for CLG, because remember, the reason they keep picking this champion is for the early snowballing, for the damage output potential. And now the magnifying glass is on Dardoch and on the first blood, plus the first pick as far as the champion. A lot of emphasis put on that one.
Every game they've gone to mid lane to get a summoner out of a Niski. This is the first time they've been able to kill him, so paid off.
They got a summoner, all right.
Yeah.
Summoner and his head. Afromu with the hook into play.
They shield to dodge out the initial ammo. Flash forward, they're going to be able to lock down Afromu. The trap is in place. A great sidestep flash. Do they turn this around? Now that Darshan is here with the TP, pulls Seraph as well. I'm surprised nobody went down.
Apollos put the trap slightly off the center of Afromu's model, and Afromu just walks backwards, doesn't get chained there with the crowd control, doesn't activate the trap, and he barely does survive. So teleports do come in to answer, and anytime you see both teleports coming in, you got to check on the minion wave up top. It is pushing away from Seraph very slightly.
Right.
So it won't be a big deal, but it is slightly pushing away, and he will lose more of the blue minions than Darshan will lose off to that damage. So maybe a tiny bit of experience advantage going Darshan's way, but the reason that it is pushing that way is because Seraph killed more before he went, so it probably won't be too big of a deal, but look at the wave. It is juicy for Darshan, and he's going to clean up most of it.
Yeah, he is going to trim it up, not allow it to push too much, so he has it in the order he wants it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want the minion wave to get too big that all the ranged minions target you when you go for a trade, so you can't trade anymore, but you do want it to kill off more of your minions so that Seraph won't be able to get any more of them. And he's got it in a very nice place here and a manageable size.
Get another 2 waves out of this before it really even goes anywhere, depending on how Seraph can get into that back wave. And it looks like Darshan will stop him ever so slightly at that.
Love that skill. I mean, Bear Trap on a rope, not only does it damage minions, goes right through them, will also hit the champion, so it's pretty much just the optimal use there. You can hit everything and not feel bad about it.
Should be able to pick the row. Never mind. Oh, got it. Get it. Nice job using the ability to athletic trigger.
All right, let's go over what Seraph just did as well, because top laners, we talked, this is kind of our top lane tutorial game, I guess. Went over the trading a little bit. Seraph, after he got the push, you go in, you put this deep ward, plus you blow all of the plants on your way out, so the enemy jungler won't get to use them. If there is a scrying orb there, you use the scrying, and you usually want to shoot it down towards mid lane, unless you're in a matchup where you're going to call your jungler presence, but generally I'll shoot them down towards mid lane to cover that base for your mid laner. Currently, they have a control ward there, so you wouldn't need to, but then you blow the blast clone on your way out. Not only does it help you get back to your lane faster, but very clearly the enemy jungler won't be able to surprise you.
We're watching quite a bit of top lane. Seraph goes for a flag and direct. Can take quite a bit of damage out of this one, actually. He still has Scarlet to hop off on. Dive forward from Darshan. Seraph with flash up, flag and drag back. And he actually stops Darshan from the follow as well for dismounting.
Lyra, though.
Where's the mount? He's quite far away, only about a quarter up.
Yeah, he's a little bit scared right now because Seraph was positioning far up in the lane. And something else you can do is you can read the tells of the enemy movement. Why would Seraph be playing so aggressively at 200 HP before, even with the potion channeling there? And Darshan, because he is dismounted and very vulnerable, backs off wisely. And Darshan also, Dardoch also came up to back up Darshan, as they definitely expected Lyra's presence.
It's really fun as well. I like seeing Rek'Sai back in the game. Dardoch hangs off on the side, waits for a tremor sense towards River. Almost was able to find out Lyra, but he went the other way. Little tricky things instead of having to show yourself. Looking to where this pressure is going. We already saw Niski go down in mid, but that has slowed down as well. I feel like he's playing from as far as he can, throwing these orbs down. You can see him giving a lot of respect to who he controls the lane now. 61 to 48. It's the first discrepancy we've really seen there. Yeah. Big pressure from CLG to start.
You can see who he, again, loving this matchup, taking his Vladimir, being able to farm very well. Dardoch down now on bottom side with the lantern from Afromu. They're in position.
Kind of a walk in and serve yourself, if you will. Hakuo's going to be there for the death. Oh, tries to W and stand next to Apollo. Doesn't get the kill. It doesn't look like they'll turn around for another one. Or does get the kill. I'm sorry, doesn't save himself.
That was played, about as well as you can from Hakuo. Even though he is slowed, he still dodges the hook. And then they spread out Apollo. He saves his jump to Apollo till the very end, and Apollo lets him try and jump into tower range, but there's too much damage there with the gank. It's a red buff level 6 Rek'Sai, so there's no way you're going to get away from that. Ultimate is on display there, even though they did use the exhaust. Didn't reduce the damage enough. And they are unable to get out of it. And by the way, his flash was barely on cooldown. I'm going back to look at the replay, and there was maybe 10 seconds left on the cooldown of his flash when he died. Extremely close to coming back up. So good timing there from CLG, and that's something you always want to point out as well, is timing important cooldowns, and summoner spells are definitely that.
Yeah, they looked like they felt very comfortable in lane, as you would, having your flash coming back up. Now he's got it. Does he use it? Doesn't have the chance. A play after that, knocks back and forth. Ping pong with Hakuo as he goes right back down.
Yeah, nailed the shot there from downtown. Stixxay with the Ash Arrow. It lines him up for Aphromoo. Easy flash into death sentence there. And another kill over to CLG. 2,000 gold with no turrets down at all. This is pure CS and kills being racked up by CounterLogic Gaming in Game 3 of this deciding match.
Very fast. A new style kind of to see as well. Will CLG still working through the jungle? This isn't to grab a turret, it's to grab more people first and then multiple turrets when they can. It seems like CLG doesn't just want one thing when they go hard. They get the flash in mid. That just came up for Nisqy. They have so many options they're continuously creating. Now his flash is down again. They get the teleport from top, and they just kind of waltz out of this one.
Yeah, Ash is also roaming up here for CLG as Stixxay walking through the river. CLG got themselves very deep, diving a turret, diving between turrets there basically, but Thresh enables so many of those types of plays where they are able to bait out a flash on the mid laner. Dardoch just walks up on Rek'Sai, able to get the flash out from Nisqy, and then Lantern secures his escape, so no important cooldowns used or able to track there from CLG, and yet they get the Syndra flash down, which is very important.
I mean, seeing their game one, these were the jungle buddies as well when they were able to come out with the win, but it was the Tahm Kench eating up that Rek'Sai. Now they have a little bit more distance to play with so they can get a little farther in the fights.
Playmaking support so much more fun to watch than the Lulu Karma spam. And it really does even add more importance as you're talking about the partnership of junglers and supports. Yeah. It's always been extremely important. Now it's just more fun to watch.
See how they work this 2,000 gold lead. Right now it hasn't been at Dragons. Doesn't even need to happen because EnVyus could get a fight back there. They actually have good vision on that area as well.
Yeah, no objectives except for cash money for CLG this time around.
Sounds great.
Yeah, they got money on their mind. And that is about it. See if that money turns into some vision though, because that's where you see those objectives really come through, and we'll see the next step of the game. You earn yourself a bunch of cash, and go spend it on wards and spinners. Here we go, Seraph trying to work on the crab. Get it! Oh, nope. Smite comes in for Dardoch, and he taunts him afterwards.
Little dance.
NT, Seraph, NT.
It was.
It's funny because actually, there's a next level there. Seraph has been one of the most outspoken about disliking North American solo queue, and Dardoch's been one of the big proponents where it's like, you guys need to, you know, kind of bulk up and just take it and go into solo queue and do your time, you know. Practice is required, you know, stop crying about it, but Seraph has been one of the ones that's like, you don't get much out of solo queue, and
play Nunu, grind out the wins, right?
Anyways, I just like that extra level of that taunt.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, this is actually still decently close for what's happening. CLG has quite an immense control on what's happening around the map, but it's still a fight, a quick turret for Envy, and they can start moving their pressure around the map how they want it. Very interesting how the game can swing here. CLG just not giving Envy any options to make that or let that happen just yet. Bot lane, slow push. Let's see if Aphromoo and Stixxay can get something done here in the river as they roam together.
Ash Arrow very threatening right now for Team Envy because, you know, with vision control comes more critical picks for CLG. There's so much less time to dodge an Ash Arrow if you don't have any vision of the river. If you don't have any vision even around your mid lane, you know, there's so many pockets here of Fog of War for Stixxay and Aphromoo to slip into, and then Ash Arrow into Thresh Hook. Once again, that could be another life.
So many targets they can hit as well. There isn't that safety You see his Thresh or a few other champions on the side here. Envy is kind of left out to dry if they get hit with one of those arrows. We've even seen Hakuo going down, the guy that can shield it.
Money into wards, into dragons, Riv.
I mean, when you can't take
Process of life.
You don't-
That's the cycle. Earn money,
doing it all
get
wrong.
wards, kill dragons.
I'll look to get my first dragon this year. So now with CLG synergizing.
Whoa! Whoopsies. Nobody saw that.
Combat movement.
Except for thousands of people.
Yeah. Hundreds. Thousands. Oh, top lane. It's still going to be the dismount. Seraph going pretty hard in the lane, and there were minions there to help in that situation. Looks like everything fizzles out towards the bot side as well. Huhi Proto Belt build already finished up as he looks to try and get some stacks on this Dark Seal. Nobody's been giving him any fights though. Niski still playing very safe. Just waiting for that flash to come back up. They may look to blow it as soon as it does once again.
Yeah, they do know that Hui's is down now after that interesting little play. I think he might have had his Proto Belt on the wrong key binding maybe there because he didn't use his Proto Belt to follow the flash or whatever. Here we go though with the charge up top. Sped up on Dardoch means he gets into Seraph.
I love the fact that he actually took it all the way, making sure they had to go down. He had Seraph's escape. Okay.
Oh!
Hit! You will now thank your support as he picks you up that kill. Seraph goes down. He's going to have to TP back up.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. The wave is pushed.
Oh, there's your Proto Belt. Yeah, it's fun too because a lot of people currently forget that the ultimate of Rek'Sai was changed to if she has damaged you recently, she can ult to you.
Yep.
So people flash away and then you still get your ult, your Rek'Sai ult off and it has execute damage and they're like, oh yeah, whoops, I forgot about that. But I like what you're talking about where they cut off multiple angles with the Kled ultimate and the speed is a very important part of that ultimate because Kled can't change directions.
Right.
But you saw Rek'Sai use the speed and be able to use basically the edge of that charge to get into range of Seraph and get that knockup.
It's kind of squeaking out. It's the new Sivir in the top lane. Get everybody running on the hunt, and then you get the kill.
Yeah, she looks different.
Yeah, but she got a beard now.
Uh-huh.
Rift Herald over to Dardoch. CLG has the chance to make these little moves. It's pressure being repaired here by Envy, so they don't have a chance to have a ward here yet. They're going to be a few steps behind, and eventually it'll push Dardoch off. We cannot fully see.
Yeah. Got a little scared there. Saw the roam coming up from Hakuo. No reason to risk his life again, and that's definitely a good change, right? Because remember last game we talked about, or actually it was the first game where Dardoch stayed on the Krug, killed the Krug, but then died to Seraph afterwards because he stuck around for the 60 gold or whatever.
Live to fight another day. Oh, he brings the arrow. That was slick from Counter Logic Gaming. A flag and drag out the Cataclysm, and an even slicker play to get out. The slippery Seraph gets the safety.
Definitely fun to watch. CLG, after all those shenanigans, though, has 3 people top, so they should be able to push down the turret pretty quickly, and it is first turret still available.
There's that Niski flash.
This one was a good one, though, and Dardoch
gets the pop-up. That's all they needed. We wondered about this composition. If Niski's flash is down, CLG can keep jumping on him.
Hex Drinker already completed for Dardoch because he knows he wants to go gank this mid lane, and Niski did not expect that. He thought he had that kill in the bag on this Rek'Sai, but that shield saves him. And meanwhile, we'll check back in on our 3v3 sort of race here on the turrets. Pretty much tied.
A little pressure from He able to take out Seraph in the mid lane as well as he's trying to repair what happened for Niski, but they're going to lose the second tier top, and CLG is dismantling the map right now. But look on the bot side, there's no stop from Envy. They're going to get an open inhibitor that they'll be able to play around, but it's no, they won't. They're actually pushed off. No,
yeah, they're worried about this teleport. They had a ward seeing the teleport start channeling, so they know it's coming, but they can't do much about it. Huhi's there too.
He's going to throw it on. Look at the positioning all the way through. Huhi gets the slow, the triple hit coming in, and there's the teleport from Seraph. The Cataclysm to lock down the back line, but he tries to get up to Darshan, almost to slow them. Throws the actual flag out to get some armor over to his other members of the team, but it just can't happen. There's too much of a divide in the fight. And we talked about Darshan having these engages, leaving his split push. Well, give him Kled, he can get there even faster and participate, and it's working out.
Still on the chase here. Darshan goes behind the turret. Aphromu's behind him, though.
Buying time, that's all they need to do. The continuous fight is in favor of CLG with the momentum they can carry throughout the map. Great flash by Hakuo. Gonna extend his life a little bit and stay alive.
Quite a long while, yeah. So he did step in front of the arrow and had his Unbreakable up, but Apollo still flashed as well. So that's another cooldown not going to be available. Right now, though, the action continues. Dardok's seen on a ward, and Niski's going to be able to possibly dodge. Doesn't. He gets hit by the Prey Seeker. So the option of closing is then there with your ultimate, but that's very dangerous to do, even though you have your Hex Drinker shield back up, and Dardok will not risk it once again. So you can see the adaptations were made. You know, the feedback was definitely given. Here we go, though. Here's your Darshan flank rib. He comes on in, charging there with Fled, arrives, and even though the teleport's there, CLG have Stixxay heading down the lane, so they keep up the chase. And that's why Envy abandoned Seraph after his teleport came in, because they're outnumbered down there. And even if they stuck around to fight, it would take them too long to whittle down either Thresh or Vladimir, who are both semi-tanky, before Stixxay got there. So they give up Seraph, and then they do end up escaping here with a fancy little combo. So even though Hakuo gets his Unbreakable up to block that, still Apollo does flash, and he's going to lose the Summoner, and both of them will, but you get to keep your life.
Yep. Seems like they are now roaming in packs as they should. Alphamu and the rest of the team waiting to hit these marks. The hook or the knockup from Dardok. Lantern used there if Dardok did want to go in, so you can see the team is actually kind of riding this edge of, we have the chance to engage, but if we just push them off, we can easily take Dragon and the other objectives.
Yep. Take a look down the list of objectives here. CLG, 7 kills to 0, 4 turrets to 2, 2 Drakes to 0, and a tremendous lead here in this early game. Now it's 20 minutes, 40 seconds. Their Baron in game number 1 was around 21 minutes and a half, I guess.
Right.
And again, with this mountain now, they might even be able to go for a similar earlier one. Currently, though, Seraph under attack.
Oh, straight onto him, alt after alt. Whoop. Seraph gets out, what a cataclysm. He's just able to waltz out of this one as he's shrugging his shoulders like, what was that? What?
I was really hoping that he was going to give a taunt back to Dardok there. But not going to be the case because they're down 7-0. So.
Dardok's got such a good one, too. He can throw the flag around.
Yeah. Not going to be the happening here, though. Riptail with the back door.
Turret torpedo.
Yeah, able to take down this one. That's all outer turrets.
Yeah.
Almost finished here. Just the mid one does remain, but this gold lead is expansive for CLG, and this one won't last long either.
And really, there's things that were even kind of for both teams. Niski was one of those in every game, playing quite well against Huhi, wasn't able to roam as fast, but kept the CS up, made himself a formidable opponent. In this game, Huhi and Dardok, both 3-0 and 2, made it a note to go after Niski over and over again.
Yep, Dardok, you know, with the early priority put on Rek'Sai and gaining that first blood, he really has made his presence felt in this game, and he's utilized that you know, faith that they had and they have put in him to be able to get this early lead for the team and affect the map that you know, the way that we've seen. Plus, got to keep bringing up what you're talking about before.
What's
Aphromoo with Dardok? You know, the combination of those guys has really been key, and their synergy together has definitely evolved. You know, over the split so far. The Tahm Kench game was definitely on display, and this Thresh game as well, especially with that mid lane play where able to get that flash, and then it's the Slick Lantern right back out of danger.
Making sure it works. And we wondered as well, with the Tahm Kench click, do things come together for CLG? We do see that game 2 shows there's things to be worked on, but it doesn't mean CLG doesn't know how to right the ship very fast.
Yeah, they're definitely showing the benefits of having one of those supports with a save mechanism, right? The Devour and the Dark Passage are both very powerful support tools for saving people out of, you know, either poor positioning or getting picked off, or even a calculated overextension to be able to try and draw out summoners from your enemy. So Aphromoo, and seems like you know, a saving mechanism like that is very important to have. Get stunned up on it though.
Oh, they put so much down on the Lantern. Can't actually use it to get out.
Yeah.
Just couldn't find the click, started attacking things. Yeah,
I guess when you have, you know, a jungler that's definitely going to go very deep in a lot of the engages and go super aggressive. It's good to draft tools that will further enable that style and, you know, kind of have faith in that style and be able to get him out of a poor situation if it actually does go sour.
I think Afromu has quite a few of those in his list. Yeah, Unbreakable shatters the arrow, still locks him up. Glacial Fisher goes down as he sets up the tree farm. And now Stixay getting backed up, but to the back line is Darshan. The teleport comes in fast, and it's a late arrival from Lyra. They're going to start peeling off the team. They say, sorry, Hakuo, you got to go down. And CLG picks one up for more momentum over towards Baron.
Yep, Baron is on the list. 3 members on Envy survive. So it's up to Seraph, Lyra, and Niski. Oh, Lyra's off the table. Just Seraph and Niski now.
Absolutely exploded. A flash hit by Huhi. You can see he expended absolutely everything to make sure this was not a 50-50. And CLG, again, 20-some minutes into the game, looking to take a Baron. Haven't even died yet either. What a game.
Yeah, 10-0 for themselves. Baron on the table, and there's only one secondary turret left in their way before they get all the way through Team Envy's base.
We'll see this engage once again, just hanging out,
Waiting
saying
for him.
somebody will walk up.
Yep, and then Stixay able to land that arrow easily. The wall cuts off one aspect of the possible dodge. They even get him right away from Apollo back out of the danger of the Braum passive proccing on him. Just really well positioned there from CLG as they are able to collapse and pick up those kills. And then are we going to take a look at this kill here from Huhi where he, woo, right in your face. All right.
Oh, Chemo Plague didn't even go off. It was just a regular.
He doesn't have flash now, though.
What's he doing? He can pull.
It's 1v3.
He can wait. Cost him a little bit, 20% of his HP. I believe it is Zanya's. He's got negative health. Oh, Crimson Rush. He doesn't live. Even more negative health.
That's 4 members, though. That's where you type in all chat. Low, gotta send 4 to kill me.
And that means top lane is in favor of Counter Logic Gaming. You see the backs already coming from bot side. That's too many seconds too late. The inhibitor turret goes down. And 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on this Baron box to be utilized by Counter Logic Gaming. All
right, 1 inhibitor is down now. So Team Envy, man, it is so difficult to, you know, try and play the game from that perspective right now because they're so far behind. And CLG have so many playmaking tools. Right out of Champ Select, we're like, all right, this is a full steam ahead CLG composition. They're just looking to charge you, you know, and dive into the back line. That type of composition, when it gets ahead, it's like, what is your defense? Huddle at your turret and hope that when they dive your turret, you're able to outplay.
Your defense is multiple lockets of the Iron Solari.
Yeah. And they have to be on high health members for them to be valuable.
Very true. Already being built up. Lyra here have a bit, obviously, but it's going to be mainly Hakuo hopefully getting in some of that HP shield for the team.
Yep. All right. CLG, Infernal Drake on top of it. That is not what Team Envy want to see either. Going to be the case here, though, so don't think that it will take too long for CLG to push up once again. Darshan doesn't have teleport, but he's unperturbed. Doesn't really matter. As far as the escape mechanisms for CLG, they still definitely have them. And unless Envy are all bunched up as 5 and they catch one out of position, it looks like they might be on the receiving end, actually.
Is 2 too many? 3? How about 4? As Envy is trying to find out where CLG is actually coming from out of the woodwork here. CLG has the goal side on bot lane, meaning they'll just head towards the base if they win the fight. Dardoch is deep, and he gets taken. No, he's not going to take it down, sorry. Underneath, and takes down Lyra. Finally going down, a retribution kill coming in there from Apollo as the fight continues. Stixay alive in the fight. Stixay taking down Seraph as he jumps right on top of him. The Ashes staying alive for the long haul in this series. This time it's Stixay, and this time CLG, I should say, again comes out on top.
Oh, and look who finally arrived. Darshan had to walk his way down because, as we said, no teleport. He does get there in time for the victory lap inside the Envy base, though. Going to be able to take down at least 2 of these inhibitors. They're both exposed, and there's 10 seconds on Lyra, 13 on Niski, and they should be able to take down both of those. Really, the 4v5 there from CLG just re-emphasizes you know, how far ahead they are at this point, and how difficult it is for EnVy. They didn't have perfect vision there, so it wasn't a complete 5v4, and it's kind of a staggered 5v4. And just look at the damage output here from CLG. He's on the front line, so he immediately takes the fight here with Lyra. And then, even though Hakuo went in to protect him, Stixxay is able to take him down on the backside, and they get the kind of flank here as Darduck went over the wall to jump onto Niski and get him out of it.
It's super risky here. Look at the map vision on the top side. EnVy hadn't moved their vision before they came down here. They were placing it as they went.
Yeah,
they didn't really know all that they were walking into.
It's so rough, right? You're that far behind. You're like, we just got to do something.
Exactly. Ugh. Put this ward here. Always expect somebody in the brush.
Look at that goose egg there for Darshan. But he was able to comfort them afterwards and help with the inhibitor.
Great job, guys. Comes in, flying through.
Pat on the back. Nice team fight, boys.
What you gotta do?
Whoa!
Triple man cataclysm. Is this the turnaround? Ace in the hole coming through. Is shut down onto Stixxay. Arrow wasn't even fired. But are the minion waves even in place? Are the objectives there for EnVy to capitalize?
Yeah, I mean, even though they're pushing up mid lane, you're right. We're not going to be able to take in objectives because we have 2 inhibitors down, and they have to go take care of their defenses first.
It's a plus.
It is a plus, though, because that's that, oh, we got to do something. We're so far behind. We need to get gold from somewhere. They take it from Stixxay.
Take it right away. That was a nice shutdown for the team as well. They had just gotten the other shutdown onto a 4-kill Huhi, so a bit of gold being tossed around the EnVy team to get the rest of these items. And Apollo, a quick silver sash, if you will, for him.
So
quick. We see more items coming in. Always love to look at deaths defied. Stixxay has defied 1 death. Obviously, it wasn't that one.
I'm gonna say it was the one where he was in the Cataclysm and he flashed forward to get the auto slow onto Apollo and killed them both.
Thank you, Tiny Phantom Dancer.
Yeah, that looks like definitely a death defied there. All right, as we said, they have to attend to their defenses though.
Yes.
And be doing their cleaning work.
What is next? Wave pushed up in mid. EnVy does have a good bit of far or deep wards up here. Deep is now at the river for them, but they can see which way that CLG wants to come in, maybe pick somebody off if they try to get too much of a hyphy aggression around a turret here. Right now, it's all straight down the middle as they wait for the minion waves to do the work on the outside, though. It's going to be tough for EnVy.
Where is that Ash Arrow going to go?
Let's take bets.
All right, who's going to get hit? I'm going to say it would the highest percentage would probably be Hakuo because he might even jump in front of someone else to take it on purpose.
So you're just saying who gets hit? It's not the target? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying
who actually is the one who ends up getting hit with it.
Niski, he's had the isotoners on. He's catching arrows left and right. It's his.
Okay.
We'll see. 6,000 gold in favor of Counter Logic Gaming. As they creep up towards 7 there, EnVy doing what they can to keep it close. But they need to win a fight to even start pressuring more turrets, gaining ground on the map. CLG has a few fights to lose before they're even behind, and now they start Baron knowing they have the upper hand if they peel off.
Yep, here comes Lyra. Maybe it's a miracle steal for EnVy. They're just charging in. They don't have many options. There's the arrow. It was Hakuo.
Kobe wins, but who wins the fight? Darshan goes in. Lyra's hurt on the backside. Huhi's stuck in the Cataclysm, but he's not really the focus. They're trying to hit the squishies on the back line. Huhi's just going to get a Crimson Rush heal in, and he's almost back to full. The Chemo Plague puts him back at 100, and EnVy again has to teeter back and forth. The seesaw for Baron as CLG go back to 10.
Team EnVy are able to scramble and kite back over that field of traps to disengage, which is very important considering how far they are behind, and CLG trying to get that pick off. But because they are so far behind, now you have to deal with minions again. And that's why it's so rough. CLG have time going in their favor right now.
Oh, minions just spawn. Looks like Seraph will be able to get somewhat of a clear. If those Nexus turrets are left with a wave of super minions, one will be able to take them down. Lyra now going to the front side with the team. Doesn't try to play from the back. Hakuo in. Hakuo down even with Unbreakable up. 42 seconds on the clock here for people to come back up. The base is still being hit by Seraph. There's no teleport there. CLG can play this as slow as they want, baiting in these 3 members of EnVy. A Nexus turret falls even with the pressure of Seraph.
Yeah, he's trying to clear the double lines of super minions coming in, but can't get it done. So CLG did get a Nexus turret, and now they're back out on the field looking to chase down Lyra.
Darshan teleports in, wham, right in the face of Apollo. The kisser is hit, and they're gonna give him another one. Apollo goes down, Flash was used there, didn't have heal to keep himself alive. Afro Moo staying alive on the bot side with the heal from Stixay, as these guys are synergizing so well in scattered fights around the map, and now they're looking for the full base.
All right, well, they found it. They are inside it, and they are killing it.
It's gonna be the top lane. Darshan, Dardoch going hard. The rest of the team filing through mid to take down the last of the inhibitor turrets. Do they even want bottom? As the minions are already there for them to take the Nexus down. 18-4 as they try to put the finishing touches on. The fight is in. Seraph goes deep and he tries to take one down. That's Aframu hit. Huki, however, in between the turret there and the teams, just tanking shots left and right. He says it's fine, salami, the turret's still on me. And now they go for the Nexus. Counterlogic Gaming takes it over Envy 2-1.
Woo! Games 1 and 3 were so decisive for CLG, but game number 2 was a very strong performance from Team Envy. So overall, definitely an exciting series and some good points for both teams, but CLG definitely securing this match victory there. From the very opening of the game, they had a very big lead and were able to snowball quite effectively. You know, this new Rek'Sai pick here definitely working out after the rework and some of the buffs to clean up the ultimate. Dardoch definitely very happy with that one.
A big priority, like you said, on that Rek'Sai as well, looking towards the top lane, seeing Darshan in these kind of split pushers, but then joining the team fight. It feels like that's much more organized now for Counterlogic Gaming. Darshan was teleporting in when fights were almost over and then losing pressure in the lane. They've organized, set that up, and were really able to just work around Envy for even a lot of the first game. We saw a low kill game from an expected bloody CLG, but they are able to go back to that macro, working around the map, and really just spreading a team out so they can't do anything.
Yep, definitely gonna put a bow on the top of that one with or maybe an exclamation point with the way that they finished this one out. And the team fight's definitely coming through, but it was mostly about, you know, getting that early lead and then snowballing with all of the Ash arrows, all the picks that they were able to get, as you said, turning that money into vision. And then they were able to get objectives afterwards, and just full-on aggression, actually, in game number 3.
And 2 new picks here. Well, new picks. 2 played picks in the past, but the Vladimir here for the summer split, and the Kled for Darshan on the top side. He's been finding Camille's, Renekton's, Fiora's. Now teams have another one to worry about and ban against them, which always feels good to be able to take another way, or take another one away and be an impact
that champion pool.
Right. What are you going to do when you have to figure out now who he's bringing in more? And the AD carries are kind of trading the Varus, Caitlyn, Ashe. So you're going to get one of those in the game. It's what can these teams comp around what we now see, as you said, Rek'Sai in the jungle and the rest of these engaged supports. Best meta yet.
You're definitely explosive, and it does put more emphasis on hitting these skill shots and controlling the fog of war to hit those skill shots, right? It's a 2-part thing, right? You're going to have better accuracy if they don't see you coming. And teams are definitely being rewarded for that, not just in this match, but so far as we've seen in the entire split.
And one of the things I like that we touched on in this game was that we're seeing, as well as these engaged supports, they also bring a bit of safety. You have the Tom Kench can eat up Dardoch when he got into trouble, the Lantern out, but we also saw there's kind of 2 more in that pool of the Morgana with the shield, which is a little harder to make work all the time, and the Bard that Aftermove plays, which is also a little harder to hit. Tempered Fates that are gigantic plays in your favor. So you see these supports going more and more towards that, and the plays are beautiful. To hear more about that series, let's send it over to Azael, who's standing by for an interview with CLG's top laner.
Hey guys, thank you so much. I'm here with Darshan after a nice victory there over Envy. You guys have been having a good season for yourselves. You know, struggled a little bit against Immortals yesterday. I want to ask you a little bit about that series actually, and how you're feeling about the season so far, and how you felt about what went wrong there.
Yeah, so going into the Immortals game, we didn't really play that well as a team. We weren't really playing that well around their timings. And I think that was probably the worst series we've played by far. And we had a meeting after that and really talked about what we needed to work on and the kind of issues we had in that set. And we kind of brought it back together for this set. This set was definitely better. There was still some of those issues where I feel like when they have 5-man and they're like 5-man down a lane, we didn't really respond to that correctly, and we didn't really use split push as well as we did in previous seasons. So it's kind of like things that we know how to fix, and I think it's really simple errors, but I think it just comes down to us being more consistent, and that will really be the biggest thing for us to work on towards the end of the split.
So how's it been playing, with the Dar duo now that you have Dardoch joining the team? How are you working with him, and how do you feel like he is fitting in with the team? Because people are talking about how amazing you have been playing this split. Is that just an improvement for yourself, or is some of that to do with a new jungler and the way you're able to play with him?
I definitely think a lot of my early game leads I owe to Josh for ganking my lane early, and he's pretty good with understanding like the jungle routing and the pathing and stuff like that. So I don't need to worry about that as much. And I would say working with Josh has definitely been like a really good thing for the team. Even though like you've heard things about on past teams like how he's had issues with teammates, but I think he's worked a lot on that, and he's improving a lot every week. And I feel like he only has room to grow. So even though it can be difficult, I think that our team is heading into the right direction and getting better. So I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I still think there's a lot to work on, as shown by this series and our series against Immortals. But I definitely think that towards playoffs, we'll definitely be a contender for winning the whole summer split.
So heading in the right direction, you're expecting yourself to be at Worlds. You're not going to be at Rift Rivals. You think you'll be able to make it to Worlds?
Definitely. I think Worlds is definitely something that I expect for this team, because I've went there the last 2 years, and I don't expect this year to be any different. But what I really want to change this year is actually making a difference at Worlds and actually doing something good for NA, because every single time NA goes to Worlds, it's just a complete joke, and I want to change that this year.
Well, we'll be looking to see you repeat that 2016 MSI form. Maybe you can make a splash at Worlds. Thanks so much. Congratulations on the win, and we're going to send it back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Giselle. I mean, CLG has the best performance history at international events, considering the second place finish at MSI last year. But specifically here, let's bring it back to this split and this season as a whole. Isaiah was, pressing Darshan a little bit about the loss yesterday against Immortals in that battle for first place. And yes, they did bounce back today in the 2-1 victory over Envy, but Darshan even admitting that many of the issues they identified yesterday still persisting through this series as well.
We even talked about how in game 1, we didn't love the way they were using split pushing yesterday, and this time around the Kled, it sounded like, Darshan had a very similar opinion where sometimes we don't play split pushing quite right, and when that's something we need to work on if they want to keep playing that kind of style, still pulling the Fiora ban this game. The other big thing that stands out to me is the preemptive kind of Aurelion Soul ban out of Envy. They didn't ban it game 1 and game 2, but after the Vlad Syndra matchup didn't go great for CLG, they're expecting CLG to change it up, so they're trying to get one step ahead of them and force the same matchup again.
Right. Instead, Huhi opts into the same exact matchup, and this time we've got more jungler presence, especially from the side of CLG. The Rek'Sai, first priority for Dardoch, really showing up here in the early game with many ganks and really getting the ball rolling on this pick.
And this is a champion in Vladimir that if it gets ahead of the Syndra, the matchup's basically over. And getting an early first kill like that, great. You see that, XP Quint path, and then coordinating well with the other lanes as well. Aframu giving him the Lantern to get in, and then getting onto Hakaho here, and, just going onto him is a little surprising. The hook misses, but at this point, there's not much you can do. Even if you try and flash out, there's a lot of follow potential, and he goes down right away, and then they just keep going around the map. He had 100% kill precision, 5 of the 5 first kills before they ended up in this weird situation where they were trading turrets and the rest of CLG teleported behind. And at that point, Rek'Sai no longer having the ultimate, can't quite get involved.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's where we heard Darshan talking about some of the opportunities that, plays in which they screwed up as a team, not responding to the 5-man pressure in the bot lane as well as they should have. But for me, and this might be a controversial statement, to me, this feels like the best performance from Dardoch so far this split in terms of meshing with this CLG. At times, I've seen his aggressiveness bite them, where this is generally a more measured team. This time around, his aggressive early plays pay off, and they're able to snowball that advantage to an ultimate victory.
I think especially in the sense that he affected all 3 lanes early on. It's something where we've seen a ton of synergy between him and Darshan on the top side. You guys talking about on Friday having way more kills up on the top half of the map. This time around, around getting involved in the bot lane early on, freeing up Stixxay and Afromu to, keep their pressure up in their lane.
Yep.
And then even getting up to the top side right after that. And after you affect all 3 lanes with the Rek'Sai, him, the champion itself getting a couple kills, being able to build that early Hex Drinker we saw, able to force around the Syndra even harder in the mid game.
And along with that, I think we have to give an honorable mention to Afromu. We've talked about him so far, this split, being able to move back to playmakers and how he, as a player, seems to be far more effective when he has the opportunity to make plays, to roam, link up with the jungler. And when we look at the trade in that regard, as Dardoch and Afromu paired together with 2 playmakers, to me it looks like a much more successful look for CLG when more practice.
And it's kind of surprising to think about that, just because whenever you think about Dardoch, you don't really think Dardoch and X. At his time on Team Liquid, it was kind of Dardoch and Matt, but still more Dardoch. And then on Immortals, it was not Dardoch and Ole. And now, it's hearing it as Dardoch and Afromu is great. And that's one of the things that people talked about with the trade was, can Afromu kind of bring him under his wing, teach him how to be a team player? And it seems like so far that has been working out for them.
Right, they got the victory here. They have high expectations for themselves and their, bid for Worlds. I want to talk real briefly, circle back on Nisqy, close out his debut performance here. In a similar fashion to Mike Young, he comes in, loses the first series, but at least from where I'm standing, I can't necessarily point to specific instances in which he was the reason they lost. And in large part, that's something to be proud of for an NALCS debut.
Yeah, I think if your ideal debut is you come out and you smash CLG, one of the top teams in the region, oh my God. And this kind of, like you said, was more like Mike Young's, also against CLG. Looked okay at points. I think Mike Young was a little bit more impressive, but he played the Syndra Vladimir matchup 2 times. It's a matchup where it's really hard to shine. Best you can do, assuming the Vladimir's playing well, is get a 10, 15 CS lead, and who he was playing well. And the other matchup was against Aurelion Sol. So didn't quite have the kind of matchups where sometimes you see Jensen taking a Lucian and running wild.
Oh,
so
Lord,
he didn't have those kind of matchups to really exert his full pressure, and it's something to keep an eye on going forward.
But bringing up the matchups is something interesting in and of itself because it speaks to the champion pools. Again, with Pyrion, we're seeing a lot of the Taliyah and the Aries, and there's tremendous success when he's on one of those 2 champions. But outside of that, how many tools do we have? And already here, having the Syndra, having the game 1 Cassiopeia, right? That's 2 new looks for the team. We'll see how much further he can stretch as the week continues.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is seeing how he synergized with Lyra, because we saw Pyrion out of lane very early on doing a lot of aggressive roams with that Taliyah, and that was one of the things that helped them get their early game leads. And now it looks like they're transitioning more to a style of, I'm going to stay mid more, but I'm going to have better scaling, more aggressive champions.
And perhaps be able to build my own leads. Anyway, that's going to do it for Series 1 over here on NALCS 1. That's not all the action we have for you today, though. Up next, we've got another battle for first as Team Dignitas goes up against Immortals. Don't touch that browser.